On Jikoni Magic, today we're going to be making kaimati, and these are our ingredients. So once you have everything in your bowl, proceed to mix it all together until it's well incorporated, and then proceed to add 1 3/4 cups of yogurt in portions until the desired consistency is achieved. You might end up using more or less than the 1 3/4 cups that I've mentioned. This is just a rough guide to give you an idea of how much liquid you might be requiring. At the end of it all, you want to end up with something that's resembling the consistency of pancake batter. Start beating and slapping your batter against the sides of your bowl for the gluten to develop and for your batter to also become silky and smooth. This should take about 5 to 7 minutes of vigorous beating of your dough. So this is what you want to end up with: dough that is stretching and has become silky. Next, cover your dough and leave it for about an hour for it to rise. And then meanwhile, as the dough is rising, we're going to be making our simple sugar syrup, and we will do this by mixing 1 cup sugar and 1 cup water. And to that we will also add 5 cardamom pods that have been split open for them to infuse their flavor into the sugar syrup, and 1 star anise. Please bear in mind that you can put whichever spices you prefer, and if you do not want to have any spices, just leave them out. So on medium heat, keep stirring your syrup until all the sugar has dissolved, and you will know that your syrup is ready once it coats the back of a spoon like you're seeing here without completely running off. At this point, the syrup is ready for use if you want to drizzle it on your kaimatis. But since I want to toss my kaimatis in this syrup, what I do is I keep cooking this syrup and leave it to evaporate more. When it begins to bubble furiously, I pull out all my spices and my syrup is ready for use. You'll see how I do this a bit later on in the video. So at this point, the dough has already risen, doubled in size, bubbles have formed, and also when I use my spatula, you can see the gluten strands that had developed, meaning that the dough is now ready for use. So the next thing that I do is I pour it into a plastic bag, and then I gather and make sure that everything moves towards the tip, and I snip it off. And be sure to set a bowl aside that has water and oil mixed together. This will help the dough not to stick to your hands as you're working. It's also important to do a few trial runs into your bowl before you go and start cooking your kaimatis, so that you get comfortable with the whole process. So once you're comfortable, after you've done your trial runs in your bowl, move to your oil that's been heated on moderate heat and start dropping your kaimatis into it. So make sure that you hold your dough as near as you can to the oil, because if you're too far up, it's going to splash back up and burn you. Okay, so do not overcrowd your pan. Make sure that the balls that you drop in there will not end up cooling your oil, because they will absorb the oil, and that is going to be a very huge turn off. Another thing that you also have to note is that you have to keep your kaimati balls in constant motion so that they can cook evenly on all sides and develop an even color. So after about 4 to 5 minutes on medium heat, you're going to have your kaimatis turn this very nice, beautiful golden brown color. Remove them from the hot oil and then drop them into the syrup that you had prepared. It also helps if you start making your syrup when you're almost done with your kaimati, so that you can drop the hot kaimatis into the hot sugar syrup. Okay, so you'll keep tossing your kaimatis. It's going to take a few minutes for all the syrup to dry up and for the sugar to stick to your kaimatis. On the other hand, if you decided you wanted to drizzle your sugar syrup on your kaimatis, you don't have to throw them in here. Take your syrup and drizzle it on the kaimatis in that bowl, and then toss to make sure that all your kaimatis get covered. Okay, I am sincerely looking forward to your feedback once you do get to try out these kaimatis. Okay, and I hope to see you on my next video, where I'll be sharing with you how I prepare my vegetable rice. Please don't miss out. Until then, kwaheri ya kuonana. Keep it Jikoni magic. Goodbye.